This is Evan Carlson, and I did my informative speech project on John Wilkes Booth. John was born on May 10th, 1838 in Maryland. He was born on a farm near Bel Air, Maryland, where he lived with 9 other siblings. He was the ninth of 10 children born to the actor Junius Brutus Booth and Mary Ann Holmes. Even though John's father was an actor, he did not want any of his children to be actors. But his father went on many tours and he ended up dying on the road while John was only 14, so he didn't have much influence on them whether they became actors or not. So John attended Milton Boarding School and St. Timothy's Hall. But John was always in and out of school. He never went to it continuously. He would go to school, he wouldn't go to school. So one could actually see his potential in theater from a very young age. But one could also see his emotional instability and his egocentricity. This made it very hard for him to cope with the fact that his brother Edwin was actually a very famous actor at the time. So John's theater debut was in 1855, and it was not successful. It was in Baltimore, and he was only 17 years old. He appeared in Richard III. So after his debut, he moved to Philadelphia and played minor roles until 1859. People loved him in those minor roles. They thought that he was very handsome and very charismatic. So in 1859, he joined a Shakespearean stock company in Virginia. And in that Shakespearean stock company, that's where he gained most of his fame. He would travel all over the South and act in plays and whatnot. But when the war started, plays did not become as popular in the South. So he had to go to the North and he had to act in plays in the North. So Lincoln actually attended one of his plays in 1863. It was at Ford's Theater. So at the height of John's career, he made around $20,000 a year. I don't know the exact transversion of that in today's money, but I'd say that that's pretty good. John was a huge supporter of the South, and he was for slavery. His hatred for Lincoln was well known. He would talk bad about Lincoln everywhere that he went. So in the 1850s, he joined the Know Nothing Party, and what the Know Nothing Party did is that they would try to reduce the stream of immigrants coming into the United States. He later became a volunteer in the Richmond militia, and they were the ones who hung John Brown in 1859. He worked as a Confederate secret agent as well, and in autumn of 1864, he planned to abduct Abraham Lincoln. So he grabbed a group of friends and they made the plan. All of the plans failed though, so he was forced to eventually kill him later on. So they actually want to abduct him and bring him to Richmond, Virginia to hold him so they could exchange him for Confederate POWs. On the morning of April 14th, 1865, he found out that Lincoln was going to attend an evening performance of Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater. So Booth went to Lincoln's box and got it ready before Lincoln arrived. So during the third act of the play, Booth arrived and he shot Lincoln in the back of the head with a .44 caliber pistol. He scuffled with Lincoln's bodyguard for a couple of seconds before jumping off of the balcony. He jumped off the balcony and broke one of his legs. He was then able to limp off the stage and into the alleyway and jump onto a horse. He met up with a colleague, and they rode through, and they fled through the Potomac and into Virginia. He met with a doctor, and the doctor treated him and his leg. The doctor was then got in trouble because he helped Booth, the man who just killed Abraham Lincoln, and helped him escape easier. So they put a $100,000 reward on top of Booth's head. So then a manhunt ensued. Everyone was trying to find Booth. So Booth and his colleague was found hiding in a barn of Richard Garrett. So they burned the barn that they were hiding at, and his colleague ran out, but Booth stayed in there. A soldier came in there and he saw Booth pointing a gun at him. So the soldier shot Booth, and he eventually dragged him out and brought him to the front steps of Richard Garrett's house, and that's where Booth died. He was shot dead, and he died, and that was in April 1865.